Before the big race, the crowd are entertained by a bunch of presumably sane people doing ridiculous things with motorcars. And then the whip cracks and the ringmasters enter. Eamon on Ferrari, Stewart BRM, Joe Bonnier with his own Cooper Maserati, McLaren Eagle, followed by Rodriguez, Cooper and the Honda.
Drivers can now warm the cars up on the short link round by the south curve and back through the gate to the top of the tunnel.
There's Joachim Rindt and the 36-valve Cooper Maserati. Jim Clark waits to occupy his customary pole position. Mike Spence in the second BRM. Graham hopes against hope that his bad luck is over at last. He's had more than his share this season. Colin Chapman, too, is obviously hoping just as hard. There's Dan Gurney. Excitement rises to a crescendo as the time nears for the cars to be moved to the dummy grid. To keep the long circuit full and the customers happy, a Formula 2 event is being run concurrently, but the smaller cars are not eligible for the major prize. 17 Formula 1s and 8 Formula 2s make up the grid, the 2-litre cars behind. 15 laps, 342.15 kilometers of the toughest Grand Prix circuit in the world lie ahead. The president of the Automobile Club von Deutschland briefs the drivers.
Der Österreicher, der so erfolgreich in Hockenheim gefahren ist. Start Nummer 9, der jetzt unten neben der Südtiere ist. Gefolgt jetzt von Nummer 37, Wilhelm Deutsch aus Köln mit einem Eigenbau Formel V.
Down the straight to the south curve, and Graham Hill sends up a smoke signal as he spins, fortunately clear of the field. Round the bend, it's Clark, Hulme, McLaren, Surtees, Gurney, Stewart, with Brabham and Eamon not far behind. Bringing up the rear behind the Formula 2 cars is a sad and sorry Hill as the field roars away along the back straight to the north curve and out into the country for the first time. At Flugplatz, Hulme, in second place, is the first to get really airborne. Gurney has passed Surtees into fourth. At Arenberg, there's no change and nothing much between the first 8. Now Adenauer Forst. Coming up to Ex-Muller now. Gurney is pushing McLaren hard for third place, and there's the signal to pass. Brabham gets by as well before Carousel, where it's still the Lotus with Clark taking his pole position as right of entry. Then Hulme. Gurney. Brabham. McLaren. Surtees. And Stewart. And that's the order as they come back through the pits with one of the 15 laps completed in 8 minutes, 22.5 seconds. 163.625 kilometers per hour. Nearly 2 seconds faster than Clark's 1965 lap record. And don't forget, the chicane's been added since then. Clark has built up a 1.5 second lead and seems to be pulling away with the Lotus power-weight ratio making itself felt. Honda is under pressure from Stewart and Eamon and will be passed by both before the lap is much older. Now. Stewart is ahead of Surtees and Eamon, 8th, waits his opportunity. Through the pits again, and the first three are widening the gap, but Hulme and Gurney are reducing the Lotus lead. Eamon, 7th, is now ahead of Surtees. Hill, in spite of his troubles, has passed Ligier and is second from the tail. That's a Formula 2 car behind. First into the pits is Joe Siffert in Rob Walker's Cooper. A second or so later, Chris Irwin comes in. The Parnell H16 BRM has a Commodore Garden puncture.
You saw him stop like the goal.
But poor Siffert has burst a hose with an obvious loss of coolant. Irwin's away in 2 minutes, but it takes 15 to clear up Siffert's mess. Over the bump, which puts the Flug in Flugplatz, come the leaders. They must love each other dearly to stay that close. McLaren is now past Brabham, and they're dicing it out for 4th place. Stewart is 6th. Eamon 7th, Surtees 8th.
On this third lap, the order was unchanged. Great class.
Now Hill is ahead of Bonnier, and with Irwin and Siffert having pit stopped, is up to 13th place. Lap 4. Hulme and Gurney are right up with Clark now. Jim seems far from happy, but is motoring fast enough to hold him off. The Honda, fine when it's dull, overheats and loses power when the sun comes out. A bit hard on a car from the land of the rising sun. At the end of the third tour, Spence comes in with transmission trouble. Still incarcerated, Siffert offers condolences. It's no good looking at it, mate. It just won't work. A shattered crown and pinion causes the first retirement of the race. Up and over at Flugplatz. And Hulme has the lead from Clark. What's wrong with Jim, the crowd asked. At Adenauer Forst, Gurney is through as well, and Clark is nowhere to be seen. Brabham is 3rd. Stewart 4th. At Brunchen, Gurney has taken Hulme, and the Eagle's beak is pecking at no one's exhaust. And Clark, limping home, is passed by Rindt, now lying 8th. Rodriguez is 9th in the other works Cooper. Hill is now the lone hope of Lotus. McLaren on the other Eagle also goes out on the 4th. Quite a lap. Gurney 3 seconds up as the 5th begins, having broken Jim Clark's lap record with 8:21.8 on lap 3. Incredibly, Jackie X in the Formula 2 Matra has passed Eamon and Surtees to take 5th overall. Rint is 8th, but not for long. Watch him fight the car. He's in steering trouble. At the end of the back straight, he retires. And Clark is in for keeps. The Lotus was getting harder to handle all the time. A slow puncture the cause, and now, as a result, a suspension rocker arm is bent. With Clark goes Colin Chapman's brightest hope. The two Jacks, Brabham and Stewart, are still nose to tail, but the impudent, some think imprudent, X is coming up at a rate of knots. Lap 6. The first two are in the same order. Gurney has broken the lap record again with 8:18.2 and pulled up another 5 seconds. Stewart has got ahead of Brabham and is now third. But not for long. Soon he's out with a broken crown wheel way out in the country. Harnett, BMW, is 10th. Hill has moved to 11th. And there's Rince Cooper, out for the duration. But still it's Gurney all the way. This is the fastest lap, 8:15.1, over 103 miles an hour. The Brabhams can't keep up. Hicks and Eamon. The bumps and bangs are tearing at the cars. Suspension breakdowns are frequent, and who could wonder at it? Graham's in trouble and motoring slowly with a wobbly wheel. Rodriguez has a bottom wishbone ball joint shattered. Hill's trouble is quickly diagnosed, a loose front wheel. The things that can happen in motor racing.
The first three Formula 2 cars are 29 X, 24 Oliver.
It's soon fixed. Lotus are still in the race.
Is 25 Brian Hart.
Rodriguez takes some 15 minutes of rush work to get him motoring, but that's better than poor Rint. John Cooper's hopes of an outright win have faded, but he's never the man to admit it. After all, anything can happen in this game. McLaren has walked in to join the pit-side Fusiliers. Gurney's record lap has put him 15 seconds up on Denny Hulme. Jack Brabham has the impudent X right up his exhaust pipes at this stage, and behind them, the lone Ferrari is catching up fast. Lap 7, and no change in the race order. Graham is still soldiering on, but without hope or confidence. As lap 8 begins, Gurney is 22 seconds up. Eamon has passed X and is pushing Brabham hard. It's wheel tip to wheel tip along the straight, but the Ferrari hasn't quite got the steam to make it. A long way behind, Surtees, 5th now among the big bangers, 6th overall. For Jackie Stewart, the long walk home is over, but life has its compensations.
Oh, they just dragged me the whole way, both sides. But I took about a lap and 3/4 to get past Surtees. You know,
Goes well downhill though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you know, it's one side, the other side, they were waving blue flags.
29 seconds up now, Gurney roars past to start lap 9. Still, the Brabham and the Ferrari are tied together with string. Joe Bonnier is enjoying a private battle with a Formula 2 job. But for Hill and Lotus, the race is run. A suspension bolt had come adrift and done the works no good at all. So ends his unhappy day. I've had a whole season of incidents packed into just one Grand Prix, he's reported as saying. Anyway, the Lotus is only good for the dead car park, and it's no good making excuses. You know you broke it. Lap 10 begins. Chris Irwin is in with a broken clutch. Putting fuel in against the rules costs Tim Parnell 200 Deutschmarks fine. But by cannibalizing Spence's car, they get Irwin back into the race with only one lap lost. Kana has had a long walk back when his suspension collapsed out in the country. When this sort of thing happens, the life of a team manager seems hard, but the driver always finds something to fill in the time. Ix's gallant drive ends with a front suspension bracket offered as a sacrifice to the gods of Nürburgring. Dan Gurney, now 45 seconds ahead, seems unassailable. But this 13th lap, only 2 to go, is to be his unlucky one. His gallant drive ends as the Eagle's drive shaft breaks. And at Schwalbenschwanz, it's Halm who comes through first. 46 seconds ahead of his teammate and Eamon, still dicing together. The Honda in 4th place is 73 seconds behind. More trouble for Siffert. Fuel again. Siffert arrives back and a petrol pump fault is diagnosed. It doesn't take long to fix. Irwin is back in the race by courtesy of the Spence Spare Part Agency. He's 2 laps down. So is Pedro Rodriguez, who's 9th. Joe Bonnier is 6th. Ligier 7th, 2 laps adrift. Halm starts the last lap. Brabham and Eamon 43 seconds behind. So it's Repco Brabham in 1st and 2nd places, Ferrari 3rd, and Honda a poor 4th. Down the straight for the last time. The chicane, the only hazard to the checkered flag. Jack holds off the Ferrari, so it's a Repco Brabham day with the boys from Down Under well on top, and Denny Halm the winner of the 29th Grosser Prix von Deutschland. It took a tough car and a tough driver to do it. The top ringmaster of 1967.
Chris Eamon, den Ferrari-Fahrer, der hier auf den 3. Platz gekommen ist. Herzlicher Glückwunsch und...
Does he remember what he said before the race?
And it would take me at least another 2 meetings, I think, before I get used to it. Unless, of course, I finish this Grand Prix, then by that time I should know a bit more about it.
Durchschnitt 163,3 für den Sieger dieses 15 Rundenrennens auf dem Nürburgring. Neuer Rekord hier am Nürburgring. Congratulations, Dennis. Well done, Dennis Halm. Well done for Brabhams. 1 and 2 for the Brabhams. Well done. And well done, Chris Amon, a fine third place in the new lightweight Ferrari, bringing him up to share third place in the World Championship with Jim Charles.
I kept the car going as hard as it would for as long as it would, and it survived, and I survived, and so here we are, the winners. Went very well.